Okie dokie, so okay, let's use our little knife here and open it up. Packaging is pretty simplistic, no fast packaging here. This is kind of cool. I like this kind of divider, which quick start guide. La la la, that's cool. And I didn't, whatever. I didn't back anything. It just looks like they just, you know, for marketing purposes, just had this too many of these stickers and decided just like whack it in every single box they sell. But anyways, so, and they are very simple, have very simple packaging. Nothing fancy, very basic. Like if you compare it to other products, this is really basic. But who cares about packaging, right? I do care about how this thing works. I don't care about packaging per se. So what do we have here? It's not too heavy. Usually I check quality of the bulb by how heavy it is, because I mean, first of all, it can be potted or it cannot be potted. When it's potted, its thermal dissipation is a bit better. Well, I'm gonna keep this, like, I mean, the other thing. Power dissipation is a bit better. That's one thing, but also weight determines the components. So some components can be like, you know, smaller capacitor, bigger capacitor. The like very chintzy capacitors usually lighter, and you know, things like that. Also, weight determines the radiator. So this thing, I'm not sure if this is aluminium or it's a plastic. If this is, it's really hard plastic. You know, if this would be like aluminum case, that means that it would have even better dissipation, right? I hope. Well, it has a contact with here, so maybe it's not going to be aluminum case. Cannot be, but could be like plastic and then aluminum, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah. It is color Wyze. Here's some information. WLPA 19C, the same pretty much stuff what we saw on the box. So yeah, pretty neat, pretty simplistic. Looks like any other light bulb we saw in our life. Okay, so what we have left here. So I'm not gonna disassemble it yet. I'm gonna first turn it on and go through all this jazz of connecting and see how it works, and then I will decide if I'm gonna pop it open. Alexa and Google Assistant, FTT, multi-bulb capability. I don't know what the heck is that supposed to mean. Multi-bulb capability, whatever. It has limited warranty, guaranteed at least 3 years based on rated life, 3 hours per. For more details, visit Wyze. Right? Well, here it says 22 years. And here it says 3 years. Yeah, this is how with my Galaxy phone. Yeah, it's supposed to last forever. Lasted only like 11 months. 13 months. Okay, so here's some more little bit data. So there's a model WLPA19C, power is 12 volt, E26 is bulb socket, and 120 volt, color temperature, compatibility, lumens, life expenses, I think see 25,000 hours, FCC ID, blah blah blah. And it has two communication modes. It has actually BGN and Bluetooth. Probably Bluetooth for pairing and BGN for nominal operation. There's some nice picture, pretty picture here, and let's get this thing open. Alright, so we are ready to connect this thing. So we have our light bulb handy, and this is Android phone with Wyze app already installed, and I have all my like some cameras and stuff like that already here, and also I have this very handy IKEA, I think this is from IKEA, it's pretty old clamp light. I think this is from IKEA, unless I'm mistaken. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I like it a lot because it has this handy clamp and I can just clamp it anywhere I want, and I run this with some, what's this? I think this one is actually IKEA's Riot. I think this is IKEA's Riot, if I'm not mistaken. And this one has, I think, metal. I think this is metal because you can see darkness over here. Aluminum heatsink. This one is way more heavier than this one. This one also like flimsy, and and also has this kind of rattling sound, not rattling but kind of vibration sound inside. Probably something is not potted. This seems to be pretty solid, so it might be just potted inside. So, well, I mean, let's just walk it here and see what's gonna happen next. Okay, click. Whoa, it started glowing green. Sick. So I think we have to read our quick start guide. Doesn't say much. Wait, this is supposed to be quick start guide, not. That's funny. Okay. Very, very simple. So all this is crap. This is what you need. Download the app, install Wyze Bulb and turn on the power. Open the Wyze app and tap 3 dots. Three dots on the top of the right corner of the home page. Either I have outdated app or, well, yeah, what that's supposed to mean. 3 dots. I don't know, add device. Don't have any 3 dots. Power and lighting. Wyze bulb color, it's very simple. Screw in your color bulb. New light will be pulsing immediately. If you are... It says 3 times to turn it on and off. Ah, works. Okay. Okay, password, have to hide it. Ta-da! Well, actually, it sees it immediately. That's pretty cool. Next. Yes, MAC address. Okay, I'm gonna hide this MAC address. Who knows? Maybe, you know, for security purposes. It's doing its flashy business over here, but now it's flashing blue. Try again. Something went wrong. Maybe I made a typo in a password. Let's try again. Try again. This time I'm using different, different Wi-Fi, and for some reason the first network didn't like it. It was 5G network. Not sure, maybe this guy is actually oh yeah, it doesn't support 5G. Gee. Yeah, guys, don't do that. Yeah, 5G no go. Another network is I have actually separate network on my in household specifically designed for this sort of things. So all automation devices, every like light bulb switches and things like that connected to that isolated network. I don't know if it's maybe crazy or not, but that's I think it's more appropriate. Finish naming, color bulb 1, I don't care. The badge. Well, I do have a badge. Hey, I have sticker or badge. Cool, whatever it means. Marketing. Okay, cancel. Not gonna touch the firmware, so yes, but it's very good idea to. Okay, now I don't see, I actually see it on my monitor screen here that it's very bright. It's like pretty much orange, but what you see over here in the camera on the screen. But over here it's actually very nice red, so color cast probably is a problem. This piece of paper is annoying. I'm gonna just leave it in this. Everyone would think I am a backer. So let's poke around. That's pretty cool. There's only 50% brightness. Oh wow. That's pretty bright. Actually, my eyes are hurting when I'm just looking at that thing. I'm curious what is the color rendering temperature of this. Ooh. Soft white. Unfortunately, they don't say Kelvins. I would like to see Kelvins over here. That would be great. Because what if I want to do like, you know, 28 Kelvins precisely, or 32 to match some other lights that I have, you know? That's kind of, yeah, willy-nilly. Oh yeah, they have some color schemes already predefined for your meditation. Ugh. Energized. Okay, I bet you bottom dollar you can actually make your own. I'm gonna do less brightness. Oh yeah, I wanted to check how dim is this thing. Let me do color. Let's do green. Okay, and let's dim it as much as possible. Okay, it's 1% brightness. Actually, that's pretty decent, I must say. Yeah, there's not much a color shift when it's dimmed. Nice. That's actually cool. On, off, on, off. That's nice. Very well. This is good. So interface is very simplistic. Nothing you can tell. Let's go out here, and obviously I can create, I think, some sort of like schedule and things like that. I'm just not sure where it is. Okay, so here all is this, so schedule and automation, create rules and things like that, scenes, no scenes, very interesting, power loss recovery. Ah yes, it's on the power loss, okay. Very interesting. I mean, it's very simple. I guess everyone who knows how to use, famous Philips Hue lights and things like that, that's gonna be extremely easy to set up this thing. I never actually own any of those fanbolt, like famous Philips Hues, and but I think it's actually much cheaper, I think, and if you're interested to get one, you have a link in the description. I think it's way cheaper than Philips Hues, and I think you can buy like one for two. So the set of two of them. I just bought them for myself, and I'm gonna be playing with them a lot. What few things I would like to test, I'm not sure how I'm gonna be doing that, I'm not sure yet, is to see what's the blinking frequency of these LEDs. That's number one. Number two is to check actually power consumption in idle mode. When it's turned on, obviously it's still gonna consume power, right? Because it's still Wi-Fi chip gonna be running there. And when it's 1%, for example, 50%, and 100%, to see if they actually, if the 12 watt is actually correct. So let me pull my power meter, and in the meantime I will think about how to measure the frequency of blinking of this thing without any complicated setup. We have our power meter over here. Unfortunately it's try not to do it upside down, but it's like asking. Okay. I hate this shiny kind of light over here. Okay, that's better. Okay, so we're gonna power this up and see what we have. This is 1% brightness, and let's go for power factor is 6. Oh, sorry. This is power factor. Is half. Well, it's okay. 1 watt. Right now it consumes 1.1 watt. Let's turn it off. .8. Power factor is 0.5. Okay, turn it on. So it consumes 1 watt, but with this sort of power factor it comes more like 2 watts. Okay, 1%. Let's do 100%. 2. Interesting. I don't know who to trust here. 5.8. 9.1 VA. 5.7. Well, like it's just in power factor obviously gonna be 6.2. Well, that's supposed to, like, sorry, I'm not following. It's only 5.7 watts. Okay, let's do. Oh, I understand what's going on here. Let me see. Here we are. Of course. Let me do white. Of course, because it's just it was a pretty much half of the LEDs lighting up here. Okay, that's even. Let's try even different test. Okay, let's do reds. 5 watts reds. I'm sure if greens are involved. Let's do just blues. 5.2. This is just yellows. Those yellows are green and red together. I see. Oh, in this case, it's a bit better, bigger consumption, 6.3 watt. When the reds and blues are on, probably none of the greens are. Interesting. That's kind of cool. So power consumption clearly depends on the color temperature. This thing takes a bit of time to kind of kick in. Alright, so 100%. Look, so let's forget about previous test. Let's do 100%. And now it's 1% on white light. Yeah, of course, it's. Let's do 50. So 51% is like this, 4 watts. And 100% is 11.2 watts or thereabout. Color temperature 11.4 watts. Yeah, it's very, very close to 12, obviously. So this is good. Oh my god, it's so bright, it's just I'm not gonna see anything properly. This is interesting. Okay, this is solved. So now we see that color temperature and color consumption is really connected. So if you do white like this, it's gonna be biggest color consumption, and if you do some kind of colors, it's gonna be only part of it, like in most times mostly half of it. That's great. It's great to know. So I was always wondering about flicker in these LED bulbs. So let's just try to what I'm doing. Okay, turn it on. Let's just try to measure the flicker to see what is the flicker. So for this, I'm gonna use this camera up, and as you see over here, it's freaking out. So let me find you a better angle. Alright, those bands, those stripes are indication that there is a flicker, obviously, because everything of this sort of nature, like LED drives, they are driven by pulse fields with modulated signals, and because they are dimmed to different degrees and can be dimmed to different degrees, their power supplies can work at some specific switching frequencies, and also some AC frequencies like 60 or 50 Hertz can actually get through not that high quality power supplies. So we obviously have some flicker, but how do we measure this flicker? So there are one way I can show you. We have to switch to camera that allow you to change the shutter speed. So for example, right now we have sorry, how do you do it? Okay, here we are. Really hard to see. In this particular is 1 to 4,000 shutter speed. Okay, and we obviously see a flicker. So you can slide this dial in your camera on 1500 and 1000 right now, and on 750. On 500, yeah, it's very granular. Preferably to find the camera, which let's do auto ISO because oops, oh, did the wrong thing. So sliding this camera, the shutter here, you can find the spot where those bands are not prominent or not visible at all, and that would be a frequency or multiplier of the frequency that is the LED is flickering. But obviously this is not that precise. For example, right now for example, this app doesn't let me change it more more precise, right? I have different app. I think where is it? Oh, Camera Pro. So this guy is actually a little bit more precise. So it's let me change the shutter speed more granular. For example, I can do, you see, like even with decimals. Okay, I can do, what we have, 500s. So we still see something. Let's do 600s. It's really hard to actually tweak it. But think this is looking so much better. So 600 seems to be okay. Let's do 1200, like a multiplier of 600, and see if this is gonna be looking funny. Actually, 1200 for some reason looks funny, but I thought that's not supposed to happen. Yeah, you see the band? It's really here in the shade. Because when this thing is super bright, this light, you won't be able to notice anything. But here, on the shadow over here, when it shines on the dark surface, it's much more visible. You see I'm increasing, it start looking funny and funny. Because obviously the overall brightness is decreasing when I increase the shutter speed, so you can notice it on the light bulb itself. Yeah, 1200 is no go. 600 looks fine. That's weird. I thought when it's and when you increase it even more, it starts getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And worse. Okay, the 1200 is the maximum this camera can do. Camera up or camera can do. What if you do 160s? Ooh. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. It's just overwhelmed. Yeah, for that I would probably need to decrease the brightness of the light bulb itself using the Wyze up. But again, this can affect the switching frequency, because now it starts doing pulse width modulation in order to dim the light bulb, and let's see if our 600 still works fine. Yeah, 600 seems to be, it works fine, but 160s, yeah, 160s seems to be fine as well. Yeah, 100, 120, 120. Yeah, 120 seems to be fine. So it looks like it's multiplicative of 60. Alright, but this is all not as precise. Yeah, you can kind of guesstimate the maximum frequency this thing can work, maximum flickering frequency. So in this case, I figure out that this is 600. Let me put the brightness back on. 100. So after we try to estimate the flicker using the phone, let's try to do a little bit more scientific approach and actually measure the frequency. Okay, well, in order to measure any time signals, we have to use a tool like this. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit. Still can do like that. Let's just power it up. Okay, talkie. So in order to measure something, I prepare this little simple device. So this is the little solar cell which I recycle from the garden light, little garden light. So I have a bunch of them go bad because of the rain and weather and things like that. They rust and corroded and they don't work anymore, and I decide to salvage those batteries. So we're gonna see over here on the oscilloscope the modulation caused by the flicker. And let's see what we have. Okay, this is disconnected. That's what we have. Okay, and we have some pulses. Oops, wrong one. Trigger. It's sort of triggering. Can I push it down? Nah, not on this. Need to be 500. Yes, peak to peak is only 180 millivolts, so that's why it's really hard to measure in this particular scale. I'm gonna close it to make sure it's not going to my studio light not gonna affect it on any. So now we have 100% brightness, and this flicker is, I think it's precisely 600 hertz. So it's gonna support our theory that what we measure using the phone. Can do my best in order to. Okay, now there are a few other things I would like to try. Let's see how green light gonna look like. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. It's interesting peak. Okay, let's see other lights. Oh wow, it's 100% brightness, and different sort of LEDs are engaged in this time. Okay, let's move this a little bit up to trigger. So we see still 600. Let's do blue. Let's do yellow. Let's do whatever. Another blue. Oh wow, this is really all over the shop. And light, and white is like combination of all of them, I think, in same time. Or maybe they have just white LEDs, I don't know. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, let's do this. Let's change. Oh yeah, so now it engages the pulse width modulation. Yeah. Okay, let's do even less. Oh, what? That's a serious jump. 1% looks weird. Duty cycle is 10%. I thought it's going to be just 1%. Yeah, this is interesting. I don't know why it's jumping all over the shop like that. Clearly the amplitude is growing with the more light, but output on solar cell. But such a different, tremendously different signals. Wow, that's crazy. Alright, so we definitely proved that this is 600 hertz flicker frequency, which is just really, really good to know. And what I would like to see, let me measure something like this. Oops. 1%. Wait, at 1%. Yeah, that's crazy. It's getting into weird mode. Okay, 1%. What is the peak width? It's 150 microseconds or thereabout. So that essentially means that you cannot go lower than that. Otherwise, you're gonna, for example, if you wanna shoot something, some videos or photos, otherwise you're gonna have some weird artifacts. Actually, you cannot go lower than 1.6 millisecond. I'm not talking about microseconds, because this is the period between those pulses, and this is the length of one pulse. So ideally, your shutter speed should be larger enough, I would say, to capture two peaks at the same time. So it has to be like 3.2 milliseconds. Yeah. Anyways, it's that's pretty cool. So like it has to be like 1 300s, 1 250s, no faster than that. Very interesting that it behaves like this when I change it to 1%, 5% doing the same, 10% doing the same, 14%. Yeah, it's changing. I'm curious what the heck is that supposed to mean. What's maybe different LEDs are getting lit in this case. I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so guys, so this is for you a little bit more scientific method than using just a cell phone and a camera to figure out the flicker of your LED bulbs. And this Wyze light, it's, oh, I see. So it's affects, like now, there is no effect of my studio light over here. So when I open it up, you see there is a change. So it started picking up a little bit more. Okay, let me just shut this guy and see. Obviously they produce way less light than this guy, this studio lights. And it looks like they have much bigger frequency. So this is look more like a 60 or 120 Hertz flicker. Okay, so I think this is enough of measuring things there, here and there. I think we proved that this thing has 600 Hertz flicker, and it pulls with modulated light, obviously, when it is dimmed down. So usually dimming is done using the pulse width modulated signal. I think that's enough of fiddling around with the light bulb and measuring things here and there. Let's just conclude here. Alright guys, I think we did a lot of different measurements and things and tests. I think it gives us better picture of what this bulb is capable of, for those who really needs that. But because sometimes if you just want to light your room or bedroom or kitchen or whatever, that just you can just use it. You don't need all this stuff. But for people who are curious, that's probably going to be very interesting information. I hope it was interesting for me, especially the way of measuring the flicker of the light bulb using the phone or oscilloscope if you have it. You can also try, I think, to use multimeter frequency mode to see if it can actually pick it up. I hope it would be able to pick it up. It's a good idea. Maybe next time I'm going to measure the next bulb, I will do that test as well. I like the bulb. Actually, it costs much less than other famous brands. Also, I like the fact that software is very easy to install and set up. But this is pretty much as with any other light bulb in the market. What I don't like in software that you cannot set the specific Kelvin temperature. You have to like use this wheel. It's kind of stupid for me. I would like to have ability to just set 2700, 3200, 5000, whatever, 100 kelvins. Or 5000 kelvins. That will be so much easier. So far, so good. Next video, I'll try to disassemble this light bulb and to see what's inside, how many LEDs, how it works, and things like that. Potentially, it can be all potted inside, and the only thing we would be able to see just LEDs. But you know, I'll give it a try. If you want to see more on this video or any other videos, please you know, ring a bell, subscribe. If you have any ideas, suggestions, comments, please comment below. I'll be happy to hear from you. And I think that's gonna be it for this episode of Inside Out Electronics, where I disassemble when I review and measure stuff on Wyze Color light bulb. See you next time in another episode of Inside Out Electronics.